I think one of the things that I'd like to reiterate, and this has been another question and a talking point for opponents of levies this levy and the prior levy. Some of the things that we've heard, one of the things we've heard recently is, well, why is it 45 cents a thousand this time when it was 60 cents a thousand back in November of 2013? And perhaps if we just hold out long enough, it'll be 30 cents a thousand. And I heard that as a question, actually a statement and then a question during our 9 hearings that we held throughout the county. And when that came up, I very quickly and distinctly stated, no, you won't see that happen. 45 cents a thousand is the last hurrah. It's the last ask. It doesn't make sense for us to come back and reduce it again. It just simply doesn't. When we came out in November of 2013 at 60 cents a thousand, we were looking at how do we restore? How do we get the system back to a level that it was and everyone felt that everyone was doing their job? And so 45 cents a thousand is the bare minimum stopgap funding that we need just to get us back to a level that we can maintain until we solve this problem at a more wholesale level. Asking for less than 45 cents a thousand would be ridiculous. It just simply would not get any solution to the problem that's sustainable. So I want to make certain that we get that message out there to folks that you know, at 60 cents a thousand, we deliberated long and hard with every department in public safety, and it did include some juvenile justice and probation elements in it that we've now said, okay, well, we're going to pare that back, and we're going to hope that the state continues to come through with that money for the community corrections and juvenile corrections elements that are important here. So we've pared that back a substantial amount. We've pared back all of it a substantial amount. So the DA isn't getting what the DA wants. The sheriff's not getting what the sheriff wants, and the corrections folks aren't getting what they want. Nor are the judges in the courthouse for the courthouse safety. Not everybody's not getting what they want out of this, but it's the best possible compromise that we can find, and to a number over a 5-year period that we thought maybe that would help get us the bridge that we need to the next revenue solution. I wish I knew what the revenue solution was. There have been folks out there also that said, well, what's going to keep this from happening again in 5 years? I don't know. I don't know if there is anything that's going to keep us from asking for a new levy 5 years from now. I can tell you, as an elected official for this county that work on revenue issues, I fight every single day. It's a tough battle working with the state legislature and Congress on trying to get us back to a place where we have better opportunities for revenue that will help us pay these property tax bills that we have that pay for these services. Again, as I had stated earlier, we have natural resources out here that we're not using that we once had, and I get that and I absolutely agree, there has to be a balance to how we do all that. We can't return back to a place we once came from where we may have done some things poorly. So certainly all about that, but we've let the pendulum swing too far. And the other thing is that's important for everybody to remember is in Oregon we have property tax limitations. So the county commissioners and the budget committee don't have any other resources, don't have any other tools. We're capped by law on the things that we can do with property taxes. We can't elevate those, and nor can anyone else in the state of Oregon. So this is the right way to go about it. I've taken some criticism, and so have the other commissioners and the sheriff, for even going this route and asking for people to pay more on their property taxes. But we keep trying to make sure everybody understands that this is how it's done. Property taxes are what pay for these services. If we're artificially low because we've lost nearly $2.5 million of revenue that once helped our property taxpayers pay this bill, then we've got to figure out together how we're going to do that different going forward. In the meantime, I'm going to keep going to Congress. I'm going to keep working in state forests and trying to find ways to make certain that we get the best possible outcomes from our natural resource community. So I think it's important everybody realizes that this isn't just something we're looking for the easy way out. This is a hard question to ask. It's very difficult to go out and explain all this. It's very complex. All elements of it are very complex, but it's important for us to have this ask and do it right and do the best job we can of bringing a majority on board with the idea.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, the things that a lot of the citizens don't understand and don't see, again, a lot of the behind the scenes work is the efforts of the Board of Commissioners and the Budget Committee that, and we have, you know, meetings coming up in a few weeks in which we'll be going through this next year's budget. And, you know, the hard work that's put into trying to find where that money is and what we can do with what's left. And as you said, when you're trying to, we did come back kind of reluctantly, but we came back at 45 cents. And we did par back some things that were in the previous budget or levy request. However, it's still a circle of system. When we talk about the public safety system, it's each of those groups. It's the sheriff's office, it's the jail, it's the district attorney, it's the circuit courts, it's the juvenile division, and it's the community corrections. All of us have to be holding hands with one another, because one broken link in that whole thing and the system begins to completely shut down. If you do not have law enforcement out making the encounters and making the arrest, then they don't get to the prosecution. And then the prosecution can't get them prosecuted. They don't get to be held accountable and serve time either in jail or in prison. And then they're not put on probation. And the system, you know, just starts falling apart, because if law enforcement's not feeding the front end, nothing's coming out at the back end. And truly what we always want is whatever's put in at the front end comes out as a better product at the end, because people have learned. But I have consistently said, Commissioner, that I have always supported the efforts of this Board of Commissioners and the Budget Committee. There is no stone unturned when it comes to budget stuff. It's just the fact that we're general fund, and a lot of the general citizens do not understand what general fund means, especially when they see openings for employees to be hired, and we have all these, you know, all these other employees that are working in the county. Why are you cutting the sheriff's office? Why are you cutting the VA? It's because by law we can't get that money anywhere else, and so this is a necessary thing for us to do. You pay taxes, you gentlemen pay taxes, I pay taxes. I don't want to pay more in taxes, but it's about our quality of life in Polk County, and it's not going to continue to be the same unless we can find some fiscal resolution to this. And in the next 5 years, things might turn around, or we can at least spend this next 5 years looking at, have we missed something? Is there something else that we can be doing? Maybe we need to look at a metro policing concept. Maybe we need to consolidate services of the cities and the county together and stop a lot of duplication of services. Maybe we need to look at a special taxing district for public safety. But if we do that, now you've got another layer of government in here that is another element that is, you know, takes time and money and resources. So I think we're doing the best we can for the citizens of Polk County. We're asking them for their support on this one. We wouldn't be asking if we didn't need it, because we certainly understand that it's not something that the taxpayers want to pay for. But if you don't pay for a service, you don't get the service, and that's what it amounts to.
Absolutely, right. Thank you, gentlemen. I really do appreciate the time today to be able to take your questions and provide answers, and hopefully those watching will have a better understanding of how complex this is and what the ask is and where the need lies.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.